The last duel of the day today. Our final free mapper will be kicking off very soon as cha1n is set to try and tackle dooi.
I'm excited, man. The NA boys got to represent.
Oh, yeah, you certainly do. You certainly do. Got to rep those boys somehow. And let's start with, of course, the main man himself, the Canadian all-star that has just been looking better and better every time we've seen him. cha1n, what are your thoughts on cha1n, 40?
I think he's been playing off the chain recently, getting better and better, as you said, progressing. I don't know what he's been eating. I don't know if the poutine has something in it, but he's been doing progressively better, and I don't think he plans on stopping.
Well, it probably very well could be that, right? You've got the cheese curds that would invigorate you to be able to really swing into battle. The chicken itself with the protein to keep him energized and really quite lethal. Probably the gravy as well. I can imagine that would have some kind of impact inside of his gameplay.
I think the only way to truly test it is if I have like pounds and pounds of it, just to make sure. Just like any good scientist, right?
Oh yeah, just don't spill it on your mixer this time.
I'll try not to. It's covered in cheesecake. There's no gaps to fill in, so it's fine.
That's true. The cheesecake at this point is acting as like a barrier for other food.
It really is. It's doing great at holding it down, and we'll see if dooi can hold it down as he's the competitor. Very plus back kind of friendly style that we've all known, been known for. I don't know. We'll see. He only really whips it out when he needs to, but we'll see.
Yeah, he's more akin to like the North American base, right? Like he'll try and play that slower style of game. If he gets 1 to 2 frags, he'll just try and ride those out to the end of the 2 minutes if he possibly can.
Just love this music. He really is the outlaw.
He's a desperado, mate. A rough rider.
So good. So good. I love it. So yeah, in terms of just right off the bat, before we even get into the vetoes, picks and bans, gut feeling, what do you got?
I think this is going to be a cha1n series. I just think of the way he's been playing, he'll be able to come out. I think it's going to be 2-1 though. dooi will put up a good fight. I think it's going to be very close. This isn't an easy one to define a winner on just because of how good they are individually as players and how close they've both been, the level of progression they've had. Let's have a look at the picks and bans though, as that might be able to help us out a little bit on how we reckon the series is going to go.
Looks like Blood Run right off the bat. We got Scale versus Ranger, and again, dooi is he's not shy. He'll play the plus back game, and that could frustrate a lot of players and force you into making mistakes, and then he'll capitalize. Then we got Ruins of Sarnath, Nyx versus Strog, and finishing off the day with Molten Falls Anarchy versus Keel on Molten. I love that pick. I love that pick. I don't think you see that often, but I love it.
Man, all right. Well, that's an interesting one. Yeah, I think it's actually dooi that I've seen in the past as one of the few people that has ever actually brought out on Molten. It seems to be one of his trends that he doesn't mind doing. So 2 heavy champs in play over the course of this 140.
Big fan. Big fan. I've seen Base, I think, is pretty notorious for doing Keel on Ruins, but Keel on Molten. I like it. I like it, but it all starts on a Blood Run. We got Scale, we got Ranger, and we'll see who can get the best of who as we're going to get into the last series for the day. Them old NA boys, cha1n versus dooi. It's been a long day of frags. We've seen a lot of great things. We've seen a lot of mic mishaps, a lot of cheesecake spillage, a lot of
ring outs,
a lot of chairs breaking because of weight, but we'll see who can take this last set of the day between these boys. I think I'm going to go with dooi 2-1.
All right.
So we'll see. Kind of counteract your pick of cha1n, but that's fine. There's balance in everything, Jackie.
Yeah, that is true. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be, 40, as we get into the last series of the day. I think this one could certainly have some spice to it, potentially just off the fact that dooi, it seems like we've seen a bit of evolution in his playstyle as well recently. He can be a bit more aggressive. He's learned a bit of a Texas two-step in the off-season, so if he pulls it out, I'm curious.
I think it's going to be a good one. We'll see how cha1n can utilize that scale bear to kind of close off corridors, chase down his victim. But again, the Dire Orb lends itself to escaping and high mobility. So we get into it right now, starting off on cha1n, the Intergalactic Warlord, plus forwarding with the machine gun out, claiming his Mega. There's the Dire Orb. dooi needs to be careful. A little bit of LG on the way out.
Here we are then. get into the game. The action already begins to unfold before our very eyes. The lightning gun is causing a little bit of a scary state of affairs. Tags coming through and ripping dooi to pieces, but he fully commits to the fight. Gets the kill with the tri-bolt, but it's a trade of frags. They go 1-1.
That was incredible from dooi with the tri-bolt up close, fearless, making it count. There's a rail from down below, tries to find another one. cha1n does have the mega to back up too, and I think most people would agree that dooi had no business getting that frag, but making the tri-bolt work. The trade comes out, and we're one apiece a minute into this.
cha1n, a clean tag. Starting to roam around, coming out from behind. LG after LG, it rips his way through the opposition and dooi is down. That'll be the sprint for the fast-paced play, as he was hoping to get himself towards the mega, but he's been betrayed by the timing, and he falls because of it.
A little bit of a misplay there, and dooi capitalizes and sends us right back tied at 2 this time. Bull Rush is gone, and he can't even get an LG. The rocket's too strong, too much damage. Waiting. So cha1n has to wait for that LG. A little bit of nail raining down, but no connection here. He is going to grab rockets. Scale stomping around. cha1n trying to figure out where dooi is exactly. The tri-bolt, we've already seen him get one with it. We'll see if he can use it again to keep Scale at bay. This cha1n slowing things down now. dooi waiting atop the tri-bolt for the exit.
Time ticking its way through. dooi roaming around, looking to try and spot out cha1n. He rears his head over the ledge, and dooi does a ton of damage. Being bull rushed down, has to leap over him, bouncing over the hedge with a rocket jump. cha1n keeps on sprinting.
That's the best case scenario. Just jump high into the sky and get away for that intergalactic warlord guy, and he does. Still tied at 2. Stacks about equal. dooi needs to be careful now as he drops down to grab those time shards. Almost eats a rail for his troubles. Rocket not connecting from down below. We've seen cha1n get a lot of mileage on rails from that position previously, but will eat a rail of his own as dooi lands the shot. Now we're kind of seeing the traditional style of Blood Run, where it's a little bit slower, a little bit more methodical. cha1n just waiting, begging for dooi to show his face around the corner. Tri-bolt raining down. There's a rail from dooi. Just peeking over the edge. There's a decent rocket there. cha1n trying to put out some damage on this heavy. Little bit of tri-bolt. Just a skosh, just a pinch. Make that a whole bunch. Good rails from dooi there.
Gets the shot onto the back of cha1n as he's trying to escape, playing with the speed. But he's rapidly approaching his own demise here. So he's certainly going to be feeling alive right now. 4 minutes on the clock. cha1n, he's low, and he gets even lower, as there will be a hole punch imprinted into him by dooi on the peak.
A hole in his chest right now, 70 HP. He's just going to try and wait. Doesn't want to make any false moves. Heavy will go to dooi. He will take full control of the map, as cha1n has to concede everything. 95 HP, still extremely weak. Doubles back for the 50 shard. Here's the telly. Almost gets caught out here.
dooi springing into action, firing himself up, as he's clearly fired up for this one. That's the mega added to his back pocket. Meanwhile, cha1n still just lurking, trying to play the slow yet patient game as he's tiptoeing his way around.
5-minute warning.
cha1n holds out for now. There's the contact. Opening rocket exchange. cha1n, 47 HP. He just runs. He's still just holding.
Dooi will grab the heavy and get another set of items as cha1n has been playing on the back foot. Doesn't really have any kind of play to make here as he's just trying to stay silent. Doesn't even want to grab this armor yet until he knows that Dewey's somewhere else. Doesn't want to open himself up to any kind of damage. Does have the bull rush. Here's the telly and makes his way down towards LG. But again, just holding corners, trying to... Ooh, there it is. Trying to get that damage. Maybe get a good bull rush in. 70 damage defensive rocket, not bad. But Dewey's just going to keep cycling these items. He even added a little bit of a delay between the two so he can try and attack between them.
Still 4 minutes on the clock. It's been a huge stalemate. No real big brawl. Just both of them keeping their distances and being quite polite gentlemen on the server. No unnecessary fights. And still that time just ticking away as cha1n sits by the blood pool, teetering on the edge of it, listening for the audio cue. Trying to figure out what exactly Dooi is up to. Wants to get inside his mind.
cha1n grabs that 50 and has a relatively good stack, all things considered, after playing on the back foot for a long time. Stack's looking a little bit healthier. He just needs to try and find some opening damage to even things out before he commits. Dooi doing the same, just trying to creep along the map, trying to figure out where cha1n is hiding right now. Who knew it would be this hard to find a gigantic intergalactic warlord, but heavy gets taken, and he's going to keep pressing forward. cha1n, is he going to get timed here? Almost gets caught out. Seven minutes in now.
The funny thing is, right, as much as this is like a classic Dooi approach to the game, cha1n's been the one that's really been dancing like Dooi on the movement and just slowing it down, not going for anything, not initiating, purely just playing off the timings and giving up those major items to Dooi whenever he wants them. Dooi's had 13 heavies and 8 megas to cha1n's 1 heavy and 5 megas.
cha1n's like, I don't need it. I'll take every other item I could get, and I'll just play extremely slow until I know for a fact that I'll take a fight where I can get the frag. So Dooi again grabbing both items, and cha1n is completely okay with that. He hears the jump pad behind him, and now Dewey's trying to get creative with some misplays, some misdirection here. There's a great rail around the corner, high speed. Sends cha1n packing a little bit towards the blood pool here. Does have a 50 shard to work with in terms of armor. Now he's just waiting, trying to find an opening rail, and another rail from Dooi. Dooi with good positioning now. He knows that that armor's up. Just taunting cha1n. Trying to catch him out. And there's another rail again. And now those items that cha1n has been living off of don't mean as much. And Dewey's been getting both majors, and now he just needs to push in. He just needs to try and get in to secure this frag. 1:20 left in the game.
I mean, like, the one beneficial factor obviously is, right, if Dooi goes into a fight and doesn't do it very cleanly, cha1n on the respawn will have a better starting stack. But that's a lot to hedge your bets on. You're still giving Dooi all of the major items. He's being starved out of even the lights at this point, so those smaller items not doing as much to bring him back into the game. That's another mega taken. And there's not going to be much left for cha1n to play with. Still fully committing to this play style of slow and steady wins the race.
And cha1n again. No rush. You almost wonder if we should spawn into the server with sudden death. 25 seconds now, and it looks like that's where we're heading. Tied 2 apiece. Both players extremely patient.
All right, so sudden death it is. That's what they've been waiting for, and that's what we're going to get. cha1n. Still a weaker stack, but it's getting close, though, with the items he's been able to find as he bounces around the map. We go into sudden death. It's 2 frags apiece. cha1n takes damage. And he's probably going to try and fall back into what he's been doing the entire time. Just living life off of the land, taking the smaller items to build himself back up. Running low on rockets with only 4 left. Luckily, there is an ammo box behind him. Dewey's on the hunt. He's coming around the corner. Will he actually find him, 40?
And I think this is a great display of cha1n, as you mentioned, cha1n playing Dewey's game and kind of forcing Dewey into the aggressive kind of role here. There's a little bit of rocket damage around the corner, not enough to go in off of, just enough to get the information, but this position's so strong in terms of escaping. It's very hard to kind of get in there and finish off a fight. So even with the information, it doesn't do much. Dewey's just going to cycle the items again, and cha1n's going to kind of live off 50 shards and health bubbles. Oh, and Dewey's had enough. He wants in, and he eats so much damage. And that's exactly what cha1n wants. He wants Dewey to get impatient and kind of give up this free damage, and then he'll bull rush in and finish it off. There's a lot of LG. Defensive rails coming out from Dewey. The Dire Orb comes in to secure the heavy, and this might be it. The bull rush comes out from cha1n to try and escape. Through the telly he goes. Good double back there from cha1n. Sensing the threat from Dewey going up the jump pad. Still really weak, though. Needs to be careful.
Basically just played the audio game to subvert expectations and be able to evade and avoid as he's still just running, leaving some space that's been created between him and Dewey. We're almost at 2 minutes now in the OT. Dewey's Dire Orb is returned to his side once more. cha1n's low on LG and low on rockets. He can replenish the rockets and still listening for the audio cues, expecting the push to come in.
Just the item differential is absolutely insane. There's a big opening from Dewey. Almost hits another one here. No return from cha1n. 20 heavies and 16 megas for Dewey. 1 heavy, 5 megas for cha1n. But it doesn't matter because we're still at 2-2. Getting closer and closer to 3 minutes of sudden death now. And cha1n is kind of playing this how he has to. Again, he's not going to commit to anything that doesn't guarantee him the win. At this point, again, next frag is the winner on map number 1 of this set. And so cha1n just has to play as passive as he can, try and get as much damage, maybe force Dewey into an overly aggressive play here. There's a little bit of LG, but Dewey hitting these great rails. That rocket's going to be fantastic from cha1n. Looking for one more rail around the corner. He's going to land it. Still, the stack on Dewey's pretty good, given that he's gotten literally every item on the map ever, all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty much factually accurate as well.
A smorgasbord of items here.
cha1n falling back slightly. Finally, some kind of initiative being taken by Dewey as he pushes through, actually fully committing into the fight as well with the initiation of a Dire Orb. After so long, he peeks out, cha1n kills him. There we go. As the railgun will best him. That's all it was. That's all it took. A 3-2 scoreline, probably the lowest frag tally we've had all day. And look at the difference on major items. Sheer madness.
I cannot imagine how furious Dewey must be. Because look at the items, right? You look at the items and you even look at the damage and you're like, I should have won that. How did this happen? And cha1n played it perfectly the way he wanted to. He's like, I have a game plan. This is exactly how I'm going to execute it. And he did it. Whether you like it or not, that doesn't affect anything because he still got the W. But I'm sure Dewey's like, I cannot believe it. He may be flipping some tables.
I mean, he got his dub, and that's all he cares about. If the answer is to try and, fight fire with fire, the best offense there is just the tenacious defense of holding angles and not really peeking into anything. And fair enough. That's the way he played it, and it does pay off for him. He walks away as the victor there in that one, and we will now move on to our second map in the series as we get ready to rumble in Ruins, kicking it off back on Sarnath. So Nick's coming out for cha1n, Strog and Pika being the switch up for Dewey. Is there going to be any differences here?
I think this map is not as defensive heavy. It could still be defensive, but Blood Run notoriously known for defensive play that we kind of saw like that, especially if the player has a mindset of that's what I'm going to do going into it. That's it. It's done and dusted. You're looking at sudden death every time. I think it's going to be a little bit more fast-paced on Ruins of Sarnath. It doesn't necessarily have to be an extremely high-scoring game, but it's definitely going to be a little bit faster-paced on here.
It seems like it. Surely anything's got to be quicker than that.
I was going to say anything could beat what we just saw, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, great execution from cha1n, but the highlight reel, well, there wasn't one. So as we go into map number 2 for this set, it's going to be Ruins of Sarnath, Nyx, Strog, cha1n, dooi. Let's do it all over again, Jackie.
Well, here we go then. Ruins of Sarnath, the second map in the series. Obviously, the Nyx having that ghost walk to evaporate and escape to keep herself on the move if she gets into an encounter that she doesn't fancy dealing with. On the dooi side of things, we've got Strog and Pika. Obviously, the crouch slide going to be very prevalent on a map like this, especially with how close those 2 rotation points are for both the major items. If you can time it perfectly and show the smooth moves, you can probably claim both of them in one rotation.
And let's see who gets the superior start here, as we're going to start off on cha1n. He's going to grab Mega straight into rockets. Ooh, dooi wants to fight right off the bat, forcing out the ghost walk early. cha1n didn't actually get rockets. There's a good rail here. Trying to look for another one as dooi hesitant to get overly aggressive. He doesn't have the best weaponry either. That's a great rail, and he might even close in on the third. A little bit of a stutter step from dooi to bait out the shot, make it across, but wow. cha1n is everywhere dooi wants to be. Rail out, doing so much damage right off the bat.
So, nearly a minute in already, and a lot more damage already being dealt, really. cha1n grabs himself that heavy, goes up the bounce pad, but it's just a bait play, trying to sell the idea of him repositioning from the audio cue and not actually really committing to it. Because instead, he keeps himself low to the ground. No reason to overextend and force out. Time steadily ticking away as he's back in a controlling position to get a mega as well. So cha1n, heavy-handed on the items so far.
Dropping down, almost getting that rocket. Clips the wall, unfortunately, but he will grab the heavy. Makes his way back. Ghost walk up. Peeker is up for dooi. As cha1n misses out on some free damage. Actually gets returned from dooi. Pops the Peeker. That's dealt with nicely. There's the aggressive ghost walk. I think dooi heard it. He wants to get out, and look at that moonwalk slide around the corner to safety. Decent rockets there from dooi, putting him on notice. The vertical rail, so hard to hit. cha1n will whiff that one. Just waiting on the tele exit. It's both players still playing a little bit more cautious. Not afraid to wait for the perfect time to strike here, as Ghostwalk is back up. Peeker will be up shortly here, just around the corner. There should be some damage. And cha1n taking his leave right before a confrontation breaks out here.
cha1n up the bounce pad this time. A very slow state of affairs, reminiscent of what we had on the first map. Going for the peek over the broken wall with the elevated face. Just playing for audio once again as well, and that telegraphs quite nicely what dooi's up to. Good predictive rocket, but dooi put the handbrake on and was able to come to a screeching halt before he ran straight into it. cha1n chasing him, looking for the perforation punishment. But it's not meant to be. It's not happening today for him.
Great rails from dooi here. Both players extremely weak. This might be our first frag. Here comes the Peeker around the corner. Great flick rail from cha1n to deal with it. And he was creating space. dooi extremely weak. He is going to have some resources to munch on that side of the map, but it was really well played by cha1n to get out of there. Very, very high damage on both players, but now they're just going to stack back up and wait to do it all over again.
cha1n looking to see what more he can do. As he peeks round the corner, ready for punishment. He's ready for action, but he misses.
cha1n playing extremely slow, waiting on the Mega, wants to create a little bit of a delay, has the timing on the Heavy. And there's the delay he wanted, and there's the rail he wanted. Could potentially try and make a play with the Ghost Walk to be aggressive, and we might see it on the next Heavy cycle here, as that'll be up in 12.
cha1n with the rocket on the drop, the fadeaway shot. Rears his head over the hole by the bounce pad as well, having a bit of a look up. So this is a very slow state of affairs now. Reminding me back of, I think it was like a 15-minute game me and ZSX had with dooi taking on Effortless. I'm pretty sure that went to a 1 frag overtime. Don't know if it'll be the same case here, but it certainly looks like such. cha1n playing the player rather than playing the game here.
Rocket into Ghost Walk, doesn't want to take any damage here as we hit the 5-minute mark, still 0-0. And cha1n might sync up these items. Just a little bit off sync here. So he gives it a little bit more of a delay. So much LG here as the fight breaks out in the courtyard, and this might be the first frag. The swap to Rockets is not going to be enough, doesn't hit its mark. dooi takes the frag with LG. Halfway through, and we have our frag, Jackie. Will this open us up for more?
I don't know. Potentially so. You'd hope this would be a knock-on effect, but the game would now get a little bit more chaotic as cha1n, he's going to have to put some pressure on the board. He can't afford to play slow anymore. But dooi, he could roam, he can run, he can hide. As he's quick, he's on the strog, he's able to evade. His evasion certainly is going to come into question though, as cha1n right now repositioning fast and furiously as he tries to run away and take a peek that favors him a little bit more.
And as the time keeps on ticking in dooi's favor, the Outlaw is going to be on the run here, as he might be able to take a 1-0 victory here. A little bit too early to call, as we still have 4 minutes left. But well within the realm of possibilities given the pace of these two players during the set so far. dooi turning his back. Almost getting ambushed there. Does force out the Ghost Walk. Goes through the telly. There's a huge defensive Rocket. Actually, Rocket jumps back up. He wants a little bit more. He's not done yet. cha1n wants to get out of there. The rail from down below will miss. And dooi misses an opportunity here. He's going to get in on the Mega. Heavy goes to cha1n. And the damage was good. Just couldn't finish it. Very, very close from dooi.
Ooh. Landing all of his shots. Coming up with the show-stopping killing blows when he needs to excel. As dooi darts out of there for now, moving into a better spot. He's still got the 1 frag advantage. Time is starting to tick away. Back up the bounce pad again. We've reached the 7-minute mark. As dooi turning the corner with the show-stopping blows, beginning to punish shot after shot, impacting directly onto cha1n. The Pika goes out as the scouting play, but it won't reveal much information.
7:30 now. dooi still holding the 1 frag lead as time keeps on slipping into the future. Going up the jump pad, does not have Peeker yet. Ghost Walk is available for cha1n. And so is the Mega, and there's a rail into Ghost Walk, and now he's going to try and play aggressive off this. Good rocket prediction there from dooi. Not the most damage, but enough to make cha1n rethink any kind of aggression. And with 2 minutes left, I wouldn't be surprised if we see dooi double down on defenses here. Very risky to drop down that jump pad. cha1n doesn't really get any damage off of it. Flirting with disaster there for a moment was dooi.
He leaps back up, dooi. Makes a point that he wants the Mega and gets away with it. It was a very low total frag game that we saw previously, and this one is set to be the same with only a couple of minutes left and just a single frag lead so far for dooi. cha1n, he has to come out swinging in a matter of seconds. The Pika wasted as there was not much that could be done. He knew that cha1n had evaded and avoided him as he got back down to the lower ground over by the Heavy. dooi taking the peek out, shoots off the warning shot. The Mega's going to get snatched, and he runs. 1 minute and 15 left on the clock.
And this is where we're going to see the Outlaw on the run. Horseback and all, 1-0. I think at this point, dooi is in the mood for a W here, however he can get it. Scoreline doesn't matter to the boy, as he does hear the heavy get taken. Now he just needs to be careful with his pathing. And he needs to have the right weapon out just in case cha1n gets a little bit up close and personal. But cha1n needs to find him first. Complete polar opposite side of the map. doooi's taking position above this jump pad, trying to make his escape. Playing off the sound cues. 30 seconds now for cha1n to try and make a play.
dooi running once again. Sprinting to keep his distance. cha1n wanted to cut him off. It was good positional plays. He put himself back up on the elevated ledge. Actually turns around to make it work as well. And finally he gets the frag. 1-1 apiece as we're at 9:45. That's when he strikes and that's when he makes a critical play. As dooi makes a mistake. Wasn't ready for the repositioning that cha1n had done. The game stays close. The drop down from cha1n as well. Rips off a rail and punishes dooi, doing a fair amount of damage onto him. He's got the advantage here, 40.
dooi trying to get some sort of damage out on that heavy, but he can't. cha1n will get a free one.
Where am I?
And here's the aggressive ghost walk play. Thought he was going to go into the back hall, might have caught him out with it, but instead uses the jump. As once again, in sudden death between these two players, cha1n stealing away the first map. Attempting to take the second in the series here as he takes the mega and makes his way down towards the heavy. No ghost walk, needs to be careful. There's the rail and out goes dooi. In a flash, he's gone.
cha1n's on the hunt.
What a rail.
Big peak, big damage found. That's beautiful. Flick around on the second as well, but he's not able to clean it up quick enough. We hit the minute mark. He ghost walks in. It's aggressive one to try and open.
Ghost walk doesn't pay off, but that rail will trying to hit another one, and he does! Hits the second rail as doooi's waiting on the heavy, and cha1n will take map number 2 and the series. 2-1 here on map number 2. A little bit slower than we might be used to on Ruins. Nevertheless, cha1n has earned the 2-0. As we get into the third and final map for the day.
Yeah, I mean, cha1n just truly playing the player there, I guess, right? Working towards his strengths, completely countering him, not playing the classic cha1n style of Quake, but instead just doing what he knows will stop dooi from being able to get into the series. And it worked to win the series. You've already taken it 2-0. At this point, it's just a matter of can he 3-0 it?
Yeah, it's always kind of interesting to see dooi be the aggressor in a duel because, again, he's notorious for playing the plus back, but you're absolutely right. cha1n was kind of like, anything you could do, I can do better. So he kind of just adapted that style and played exactly how I want. It worked out. 2 maps in a row, not bad.
No, it's good. It's good stuff. And then finally now, obviously, is the last map of the series where it just comes down to the extra points for cha1n. It's Anarchy for cha1n. So again, a character all about high-octane speed versus the keel that's coming in for dooi. So the pineapples on parade.
Absolutely could be soul-crushing to go full speed into a keel with rocket or shotgun out into the pineapples. It could be devastating. dooi could always be posted up around a corner. We'll see how he sets the trap with keel.
Yeah, what's going to be his answer? We'll find out once we step into the action then. The final duel, the last map, the last series, last game of the day here for the Quake Pro League as we round out week 1 for it. It all comes down to this.
All comes down to this. An action-packed day full of frags. But let's see who could take this very last here. I'm sure cha1n wants to get the clean sweep, the 3-0. He always talks about it. Let's see if he can get it. Let's see if we see more of that defensive style play on this last map of Molten. Or is dooi going to get a little bit aggressive with the keel? Has a little bit more stack to work with. Has some pineapples to throw out. Maybe some citrus. Maybe some citric acid in the eyes of cha1n. We'll see how this one breaks down.
Yeah, we'll find out if he's going to be eating healthy here and using the fruit ferocity or what his answers will be. The final map of the series, obviously, dooi on the kill. Maybe there's a chance we do see a bit more fireworks here. Plays a little bit more aggressive and uses the fact he's on a big, heavy-hitting champion to go full aggro. I'd like to see it, but you never know.
No promises here. We start off on Dooi. Grabs the LG, doubles back to heavy, and already right off the bat, look at that stack. Oh my goodness. And if he would have made that jump, Dooi with a little bit of misplay, not even the rocket jump, but just the jump across trying to get to the top of the jump pad, could have gotten way more damage too. cha1n's very lucky that Dooi had a bit of a misplay on his mechanics there. But now Dooi lying in wait on this heavy, just hoping that cha1n drops down. Ooh, in the peak. Very smart from cha1n there. To look before he leapt.
Well, a minute already gone by. cha1n with a bigger stack to play with. Whereas Dooi, he backs off 10 seconds until we have the heavy come up and he's lurking on the corner. Makes the correct call to peek now at the right timing. But he believes cha1n's gone. However, he was actually just hiding. Out of line of sight, slightly out of mind. As the shots are coming back through, they exchange blows, but none of them really connect. Dooi drops, he grabs the heavy and launches into action. Ready for war as he goes charging in. Battle of the LGs come out. They both trade major items apiece. Dooi repositions rapidly, using the rocket for extra thrust.
Dodging that rocket splash, but cha1n honed in on where his enemy's going to peek from, rail out. Gets the damage he wants, sends Dooi packing as Dooi was trying to sneak up on him and set a trap, but nothing doing. cha1n says no. And as we expected, a bit of a slow pace again on this third map. Decent rocket there. Couple pineapples for insurance, but won't land any damage.
Juice it up, baby.
Oh, and there it is. Huge damage around the corner there from Dooi. cha1n needs to be extremely careful. Could have cost him his life, but for now, just a lot of damage. Dooi will claim the heavy, trying to find any kind of damage on the way out, but instead, cha1n rocket jumps out of there. Ooh, great rail from Dooi as cha1n falls down on top of the Mega.
Not a kill found yet, but an awful lot more damage exchanged between the two of them. As the fights have certainly been close. We're going to reach that 3-minute mark. Heavy will be back up in 2 seconds. cha1n, he's sprinting over by Mega. The issue is the Mega timing slightly muddied compared to the timing of the heavy coming up. So Dooi can build his stack back up a bit earlier, which he will. cha1n delaying that Mega, grabs it about 5 seconds after. Dooi on the hunt, playing for the audio cues again. Knows he's just gone through the portal. Has all of those pineapples ready. Locked and loaded, ready to rumble. But when is going to be the opportunity to actually use them?
Creeping in, he's going to hear that heavy pickup. There's the rocket jump and gets a free rail off of it. Now he's going to double back and try and cut off at the Mega. cha1n's just going to post up and try and deal damage. Doesn't want any part of this kill up close and personal here. And again, players trade major items.
I see.
Ooh, great rocket to rail combos. Dooi hits him with the 2-piece.
Gets the heavy again. 4 minutes gone by. 6 minutes left on today's series of games. This is all the time that remains for someone to take the advantage. cha1n's already got a 2-0 in the series. Will he be finding himself a third map? The Dooi's peaks coming out. Some near misses on the shots and not really a lot for him. It's very slow. As he peeks back around, 4 seconds till heavy's up 40. Maybe this could be our first real duel.
Ooh, rocket into rail. Won't land this time for Dooi, but he does claim the heavy yet again. Keeping that keel nice and stacked. cha1n posts up, tries to deal damage here as Dooi comes around the corner. Mega taken, and that is just one thick boy right now. Dooi trying to find cha1n, wants to fight, begging for a fight, and cha1n wants nothing to do with it, playing defensive as we hit the 5-minute mark. Rails exchanged. Dooi won't land his. Pineapple around the corner. There's a rocket. cha1n kick flipping his way towards that door frame, somehow not taking more damage. Very fortunate. There's a rail and pineapple from Dooi. Just a warning flare as cha1n will drop down, and there's going to be big damage. 200 damage to be accurate here, to be exact, but cha1n's still staying alive. Very, very weak now. Dooi smells blood. Can he find the rail? Doubles back instead. And this is shaping up to be another maybe 1 frag victory here for either player.
An absolute nail biter, mate.
I have no nails left.
I've literally eaten my fingers at this point. cha1n so low though. This actually could be the opening frag. Dooi, he was going for it, but he's not. He's waited. He slowed it down. He's teasing us.
The suspense of building here as Dooi claims another mega. Rocket jumps, eats a rail for his troubles. cha1n getting a lot of damage out of that stairwell position. Dooi extremely early for that heavy. Just missing with that rail. A second one will land. Pineapples come out just in case. But cha1n doing well at not really committing to either direction, just kind of playing in a way where I'm going to escape for a second and make you think I'm going this way, but really I'm not going to commit. But there's 2 pineapples and a rail. But every time Dooi gets damaged, cha1n can just stack back up. It's all for naught, Jackie. Rails exchanged again from the players here. Dewey's going to make his way down towards the mega. It's not going to be up for another 8 seconds. And now he's just stalking his prey again. He hears it. Trying to play off the sound cues. Knows he's above him. Trying to look for any kind of angle. There's the drop down. Rail will miss. cha1n will hit his. He'll hit another one. And now Dooi on the back foot needs to be very careful. And he lost out on the mega. He has to concede the heavy. 7:15 gone by. Still 0-0.
The lightning gun comes out. Dooi gets low. And Dooi runs. But the issue is, he's made the wrong decision. He sprinted straight into cha1n, and finally, cha1n opens it up. He gets a kill on the board. Nearly 8 minutes into the game, that's when the first blood is found. As Dooi is slain, cha1n takes the lead.
cha1n here's the heavy, here's the jump pad, has all the information he needs. 8 minutes in, 1 frag up. When in doubt, rail out, and Dooi hits an absolute gem of a rail there. Closes the gap, he's coming in like a wrecking ball. cha1n throwing out some rockets defensively, keeping him at bay. And are we going to see the lockdown? It looks like we are. cha1n is going to try and escape this one with a 1-0 victory.
He just needs to evade. He's just got to run. As long as he can avoid any potential encounters and keep himself moving, then that might actually be possible for him. He could just win it off the 1 frag he's got. Dewey's hunting, but he's missing with his rail shots. He's not actually connecting them or being able to punish.
And Keel versus Anarchy, I mean, just speed-wise, it's almost impossible. There's a rocket to rail combo. cha1n's just going to plus back and keep getting this free damage as Dooi has to aggress with 1:10 left. He's running out of options. There's another great rail setting up right before the heavy.
1 minute warning.
60 seconds left. Dooi busts out the railgun, but no fun to be found. Time ticking away. Mega's not up for another 9 seconds, though, so at least that won't be a potential aiding factor for cha1n. Ooh, he comes around the corner on the kickflip. Avoids. He's out of there. He's gone. You might get the Mega, but you need the frags. That's the commodity now.
At 30 seconds left, I just don't see cha1n misplaying this. He's been playing perfect all day in terms of the defensive play and just using sound cues and defensive rockets and rails to keep Dooi at bay. And with 20 seconds left, I think this is it. There's another great rail. Dewey's going to have to drop down. He has to commit to a certain side, and there's the rocket jump to get away. There's a rail right in the back, 75 HP. If he could just find an angle, he can do it. This might be it. There's the rocket around the corner. The dodge comes out from cha1n, and the rocket right in the breadbasket is going to seal it. 2-0 for cha1n. The opportunity was there, Jackie. He was so close, 10 HP away from sending us into another sudden death, but cha1n puts a stamp on it and takes the series 3-0.
Man, as if that's the way it ends as well. Like, he had to grind it that whole point, eventually got it back into a position where it seemed like he was actually going to get it on the board, and it's snatched away from him by cha1n, just shutting him down in the last few seconds. Depth-defying damage that comes out. cha1n, I mean, you can't fault him, right? He played the player. You can't hate him for it. He understood exactly what he needed to do to count Dooi, and it works out well.
I agree. He played the game plan that he had set in his mind. He played it to perfection, and he got his 3-0. He earned it. Whether you agree with the play style or whether that's your preference, that's a different story, but you can't deny that he just went 3-0 and got himself the series victory.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's done. He's been able to smash it here. He locks down the series overall. And that's a lot of points as well, getting the full 3-0. Again, another player that's been able to come out with a great opener into stage 4 and will be quite happy with the amount of points he's racked up. It's also versus an opponent that certainly has pulled the rug out from a few of the North American pros' feet, right? Dooi took some upset wins last season. So the fact you've been able to beat him there with the 3-0, that's a good result.
I mean, 3-0 any week is a good start, especially week number 1. You want to start with confidence, points, everything, and cha1n's going to walk away with all that. It's a solid start to him.
It is. It is. He's done well. He's certainly going to be happy with how that has gone down overall. And there you go. cha1n tackling the opponent. Dooi, unfortunately, not getting anything really going for himself there. Both of the maps, I mean, even the first map, really, in the way it was played, the fact it was decided by a rail shot or one rocket, literally just down to the bare minimum, basically. Just playing the absolute basics of Quake.
It's just limiting your mistakes and seeing how much opening damage you can get and immediately pouncing on it was pretty much the name of the game. As you saw cha1n on Blood Run specifically, he didn't take any fights. He didn't need to. He didn't even peek corners. He didn't even need to. It was just executing his game plan to perfection.
He did. He played it absolutely fabulously. And that is it in terms of obviously the games overall, as that one gets shut down. Some ridiculous results today. The whole way through, we had some pretty damn good games. I feel like obviously the middle portion of the show as well. Game 6, Game 7, those were two meaty ones to say the least. Sparty versus Kilson was a banger. Kilson looks unreal. Still just looking like the reason, why he's got his name on the belt twice. Venga Cooler was an interesting one as well. That certainly had some spice to it.
For sure. We had Rafa Genic, which was a bit of a kind of a, some might say snuff film. I'm not really sure. But then Cypher and Avic, which was a bit of a blowout as well. So a lot of high flying action early on in the day. And then we mellowed out near the end, I think.
We did. We had a bit of the calmer state of affairs towards the end of the day. Certainly a lot more aggressive in the middle portion and back at the beginning. Obviously, we can't take away from the fact that the Thunder from down under, Zeneku, he took his win here today. His first time he's actually been able to win a map. So let's look back on these results then. They get into the schedule. Obviously, we can see how all of the games went today and refresh your memory a little bit, as there has been some pretty exciting results.
Yeah, big shouts to Zenaku taking that 2-1 over Effortless. That was a fantastic set. Well played to him and well deserved.
Yeah, a 2-1 split. That was his first series win in the Quake Pro League after all of Stage 3. He didn't win a single series. Week 1 of Stage 4, he wins it. He takes it away. He'll be very happy with himself. Tox 2-1 over cha1n as well. So cha1n, even though he still looked pretty strong and was putting up a good fight in that series, couldn't win it. The 8-7 on the final map was a bit too much for him.
Such a close one. We had Dramas taking it over Cygib 2-1. Very, very close set there. And then just the beginning of the 3-0s. Cypher taking it over Avek. Just look at that score line. Just putting up big numbers there was Cypher. Just dominating performance, heating up, looking so good. He's always been one to look for, but man, he keeps playing like that. It's going to be crazy. Then we have Rafa Genic again, another 3-0 there. Big numbers from him as well. Kilson Sparty, as you mentioned, the champ, going to do champ things, putting up huge numbers, showing the world why he's the 2-time. Wenger and Cooler with the interesting set. Very, very close. Shouts to both players. And then cha1n and Dooi, what we just saw, a little bit more mellow. but still close nonetheless. Fantastic day of games, man.
Yeah, no, it was good. Have you had fun, 40?
Absolute blast for me, man. It's a pleasure to be here and cast some Quake, especially alongside such a handsome devil such as yourself.
Stop it. You're looking dashing in your beanie, I must say.
I try.
It's been fun though, mate. It has actually been a pretty damn good day, right? We got some good games. We had some wacky ones. We've had essentially every different type of flavor that you can get when it comes to Quake duels.
I don't know what else someone would want. Rails, tails, rails, nails, dinosaur tails, I guess, chair malfunctions, cheesecake in the mixer. Like, we've had it all.
Yeah.
Apparently cheesecake on the totem. We'll see. I don't know.
We'll find out about the cheesecake on the totem potentially later. Let's have a look at the standings then, of course, and see how it's all looked. Or actually, we'll get that ready as well. Have that arranged before we get into that. But yeah, it's certainly been damn good, mate. It has been a fun day overall. A lot of it's been interesting.
Yeah, and I can't help but think, Ketchup sitting at home on his birthday, just watching all these matches, having a great time as well. I hope everyone else had a great time. I know I did. It's always a great Sunday when there's Quake on.
Oh, mate, it is indeed. I'm sure he's happy with his little hat on his head and his birthday cake in front of him.
He just looks so
Hopefully he's
cute.
not
He
spilled
does.
his.
Yeah.
If he spilled his cake on the mixer, then it's double bad. Hopefully that was just on your end.
I feel like it's just me. I'm clumsy. What can I say? I don't know.
These things happen, mate. These things happen. Luckily enough, the clumsiness in the games was kept to a bare minimum today. Across the board, it was all pretty damn good. We saw some sickeningly good plays. If you enjoyed what you've seen at home, of course, you can let us know. Hashtag Quake Pro League on Twitter. If there are any depth-defying moments that really stuck out to you and you want to let us know, hit us up on social at Quake.
Yeah, and I highly recommend following the players, jumping on in their streams. All these players are streaming all the time, giving feedback, and you can get kind of more insight on their play styles, what they're thinking, how they approach the game, how they approach their opponents. It's really wonderful to see and kind of have that interaction with these pros.
Oh, yeah, that is very true. That's one of the things, obviously, about the Quake community in terms of how active they've been on their individual platforms of showing off how they operate as individual people. There's a lot of characters in the scene, and it's worth keeping up to date with them because they're all vastly different from one another. That's one of the cool things about it, obviously, just being that one-on-one type of esport.
Absolutely. Kind of reminiscent of like the FGC. Everyone has their own flavor, their own personality, their own way of approaching the game, champion map, and it's awesome to see.
It is indeed. It's been another good day for it. It also, for me, opens up with Stage 4 rather, looking like it's potentially going to be the best yet, purely based off the storylines of how close the competition's gotten for the players that are always in that top 5 sort of area, right? We know what to expect normally from players like Rafa, Razy, Kilson, Cypher, but with all of them starting to go their own routes and develop different styles a little bit now, looking better in form as well, they're getting closer and closer, so it's not as easy to just call that, X player will take this series, which is good. It means the competition's been growing over the course of the league. Obviously now we're after 31 weeks once we shut down this week, so you'd expect things to have been changing. They certainly have.
Yeah, it's a lot of Quake as we grind slowly towards the Stage 4 finals. I think that's August 7th through the 9th. Don't quote me on that. I'm sure someone actually has the exact dates. But either way, I mean, all these players, just like they were fighting for day one, they want their name on that belt. Every week counts.
It does indeed. It certainly does. And I think Kilson sort of proved that as well, still looking on that championship form on his game today, which hopefully is what we have from everyone. It was cool, though, that you had that matchup with those three, obviously the three real sort of big dogs from North America and Europe. It's going to be interesting to see once we start to have them facing off. The Cypher versus Kilson games later on are going to be damn good. But it looks like we can have a look at how the bracket looked, of course, coming into things today with the overall standings. This is how everyone ranked before today's games for you. So keep this in mind. And obviously, you might want to memorize some of this because I'm sure it will be switched up once we get into the updated standings and see how things have actually transitioned after today's games.
Rafa just holding on to that number one spot. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, and he actually probably could have broken the 600 mark and be on like 650 or something ludicrous at this point as well, because he had a 3-0 win, didn't he, today? So
yeah,
Rafa still creating even more distance. Kilson will be catching up after today's results. Cypher's as well going to be at a good spot. Razy will be lagging behind a little bit after having his bye week today. Wenger could be in top 5, if not actually being able to overthrow and be in that 4th position, which would be damn crazy. Let's have a look. Let's see how things have actually changed then after this week's games as we bring on the updated standings.
635. Wow. Rafa just stacking bodies, stacking points right there. Looks like Wenger, again, Dehang was on a bye week, but Wenger breaking into that 4th place right there. And yeah, solid play. Nosfo was on a bye, Razy on a bye, Base. We'll see all those guys soon. It's amazing to look at this list and just see how many heavy hitters are in the Quake Pro League, man. I love it. So much talent in this league.
Oh, that truly is. It truly is. It's damn good. That's an interesting top 4 now, though. Rafa, Kilson, Cypher, and Wenger. Wenger obviously being able to move over to Hang and Razy. They haven't played yet, so they haven't been able to actually contend and show that they can still keep on moving yet. But we'll see. Potentially next week that might change. That's interesting. That is a mean-looking top 4.
And I think it says a lot about Wenger being a relatively newer player, being in the top 4 with such legends and people that have just put so many years into this franchise. Just sharing the stage with them and being like, "Hey, I'm here to play."
Oh yeah, like he's proven so much. He's getting better and better. He was also a little bit disheartened, even back in Poland, right? When he got, what was it, top 4, and he was still just like, "Damn, it's not good enough. I wanted to do more," and he did that coming into stage 3. Again, better results every time we see him at a stage final.
I mean, you talk to any player and they're all number 1. So number 2, number 3, yeah, that's great. But at the end of the day, they're not going to be happy until they get their name on that belt.
That is very true. Well, 40, that's it for today. We're done and dusted, mate. I think any final words before we round this one out?
No, man, big shouts to you. It was a pleasure. Big shouts to everyone that makes this possible. Big shouts to everyone at home for tuning in, keeping it locked, and peace, love, and rockets.
All right, lovely stuff. A good sentiment there to close things out. But you're absolutely right. That is it. Thank you so much for everyone that has tuned in today and enjoyed themselves, hopefully, throughout the course of week 1 of stage 4. Thank you to the amazing production team that do make this happen, of course, at Face It. But that is the end of the show. Thank you for the viewers at home. 40, thank you for being damn beautiful and getting cheesecake everywhere, you sweet man.
I regret
Absolute
nothing.
snacky is. I can't believe it. Right then, more stuff to go. Once we return next week, it's always going to be the same schedule. Sundays are for Quake, so keep it locked, keep it free, as you'll want to enjoy the Quake Pro League action. But this week, we are done. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you another time.